And there's a bit where Sadie unveils the work and Libro is obviously quite taken aback, and then Sadie goes, "Should we have a drink?"
Yeah. Okay, we're talking about Private View today, a short shown at the BFI Flare 2023 Film Festival in London. We haven't been physically much. You've probably been more than me, but I've seen a lot on the player.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what's interesting. There was a big party last Friday at the BFI.
And I was
DJing somewhere else, so I couldn't go.
I was going to say, I was about to say you let the team down because we were going to plan on going, but I was in Cornwall and doing other things, and you were obviously busy as well, so we've let them down.
We've let them down. We were missed, though. I bet we were missed.
They probably were thinking, "Hang on a minute, where are those idiots from Boys on Film? They're not here. They should be."
I'll tell you a little story while we're here. After I finished DJing on Friday, I was DJing at the gorgeous Retro Bar. A lot of the BFI delegates came in because the party at the BFI finished, so they came to Retro Bar. So a lot of the Flare bunch were there, and we went to Halfway to Heaven, which is an institution.
That's an experience, isn't it?
Well, it is Flare. And I was chatting to one of the gorgeous people in the queue, and they said, "Oh, what? Just remind me again what you do for Flare." And I said, "Oh, we're part of Boys on Film." And they were like, "Oh, amazing! We love those boys. We love Phil. We love Raj." And I was like, "Great, fab, wicked."
Word got out.
Yeah, word has got out, and so I was having a gossip in the queue, you know. So I was never off shift, Phil. Never off shift.
Constantly
never
working. I love it. So if you are new here, welcome. We are Boys on Film. My name is Phil, and that is Sean. And we do lots of reviews, movie reviews, TV shows. We do film festivals, which is obviously why we're doing BFI Flare. But what a treat to share our thoughts on, which is Private View, directed by Sarah Milan.
Well, it's a story really about visibility, I think, because it tells a story of two well-known artists in London, how they found each other in the 90s or knew of each other in the 90s, and really how that story plays out today. So I think what's really amazing is these two artists. So Sadie Lee, who's a very famous art painter and artist, and Levi Bridgeman, who is formerly an actor, now works with spoken word and writing. Libro went to, there was quite a big exhibition in London about 5 years ago at Tate Britain about queer art, and Libro felt that they were not recognised within that piece of work, within that body of work, because it primarily was gay men, white gay men, presented by gay men of and about gay men, and Libro felt that they were not recognised within that space. And so they approached Sadie Lee to see whether they would do a commission. And Sadie Lee initially says no, because I don't really like commissions, but convinced Libro that as long as they could do what they wanted to do with this commission, then they would go forward with it. And it tells the story of how they met, their intertwined lives in London. And I think that's such an interesting thing, because when you live in London for a long period of time, you know of people and your paths kind of intertwine and cross. And you get a lot of that narrative between Sadie and Libro. And then really the unveiling of this work that Sadie has done, these two beautiful pieces of work, very powerful pieces of work of Libro, that it kind of tells the story of that. But it's more than just an unveiling. It's much richer as a short film.
Oh my God, we'll come on to that unveiling because I've got a lot to say about that. But do you remember I sent you a message saying that I was really looking forward to seeing the short because of the music? Because the music's been produced by the McCarricks, who is Martin McCarrick and his wife Kimberly. They've done a lot of collaborations in the past, people like Gary Newman and Kristen Hirsch, Sinead O'Connor as well. And Martin McCarrick used to be in Susie and the Banshees, probably my favourite band of all time. So I was looking forward to seeing this just for the music alone, but also when I read about the subject, I was really intrigued by it. So to see the McCarricks doing the music for this, which I thought was really fitting, I thought it was such a great soundtrack. It was kind of very melancholy, but also dramatic and kind of edgy. I hate that word edgy, but it's kind of spiky, and I think it really suited the story. But the unveiling, the unveiling itself was more than an unveiling, because you know when somebody is represented with a painting that somebody's done or a self-portrait, and you kind of have that obvious reaction, which is, oh wow, that's amazing, I love it. This wasn't like that. It kind of took a bit longer for the real reaction to come, because I think Libro was quite stunned at how accurate the representation was, and I think Libro thought, it was a true likeness, I guess, because there were two paintings, one unclothed and one clothed, and I have to say Sadie Lee's work is amazing. I mean, if I could afford a piece, I would have one hanging up in my home here. But yeah, I love what she does. I love the style.
Phenomenal. And I think what's important, as I say, as I kind of started at the top of this review talking about, which is, it's now a piece of work that exists in the world, not only of Libro, but of a non-binary person. Agenda's a heavy word, but there was a purpose for this work. It wasn't vanity or ego. It was about creating work that represents our community on a wider basis, not just white gay men. So I think it's a layered piece of work, and I think it's interesting. Again, it's not so long, but it's really, really rich and fantastic.
Yeah, and there are some great people in this as well. Maybe not talking, but referenced. I mean, there's a great portrait that Sadie's done of Debbie Smith, who used to be in Curve and Echo Billy, and people that we've talked about in the past, because Debbie was in a film called Rebel Dykes that we saw, a documentary. Was that last year at Flare? I think it might have been.
Rebel Dyke seems like a long time ago, but it still stays with me. Really, really fantastic. You're right. There's that overlap.
And really interesting and honest conversations about how people see themselves too, and how they're not represented. Like you said, Libro didn't feel like they were represented. I want to watch it again. I loved it. I found it really fascinating, and also just great to see just genuine, honest people just being themselves, their true, authentic selves, and having such a vision.
I agree. I really, really liked their interactions when they were just kind of sat having a gossip.
Yeah, at the table, at the kitchen table.
They were just it was just very warm, and at times it was a little prickly, but that was like the nice thing about it, because at one point Libra said, well, when I approached you, I had no doubt you weren't going to do it because of my like arrogance or my ego or whatever. So it was quite fun. They were really playful together, and there's a bit where Sadie unveils the work, and Libra is obviously quite taken aback, and then Sadie goes, should we have a drink?
Yeah.
And I kind of loved it. It felt very real, and both of them are faces that you see around, and so I think it's part of that rich tapestry of London. I've lived here since 2000, and you know these faces and you see these faces, but it's amazing to tap into some of that, which I think is brilliant.
But going back to the music as well, because the McCarricks, obviously, I mean, I love strings, but Martin plays the cello and his wife Kimberly plays the violin, and I think there's just something really memorable about that score, and I think they've nailed it with the music for this. Just think it really suited the short. So it's called Private View, directed by Sarah Milan. Check it out if it's on. I think it is actually free on the BFI Flare, because I think Martin did message me on Facebook saying it's free, and I wasn't sure if it was on the.
Yeah, I think if you search it on the player, you'll find it. So it's beyond the boundaries of BFI Flare. So I think you can find it on the player.
It's the best thing I've seen this year at Flare, actually. When I think about shorts and features, it's the best overall. The best piece of cinema.
It's pretty good.
So, yes, check out our playlist, our BFI playlist. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.